Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. There's a lot of updates today, so let's get right into it. The first topic of the day for Ping Pong Flix Show is going to be about Snake Eyes. Yeah, join the man behind the mask. Henry Golding and Snake Eyes. We're kicking off this summer's Comic-Con at home on July 21st with 10 fans' first premiere screenings in theaters across the U.S. See the new trailer, this Monday, and experience the movie in theaters everywhere. July 23rd. Now, I didn't even know that there was a Comic-Con this weekend, so that's interesting. Maybe we'll get some more stuff out of this coming days. But Snake Eyes got a little bit of a clip here. They're definitely going to have a new trailer on Monday, which is good because I wasn't quite satisfied with the last trailer. I wanted to see more, and more we shall see coming Monday. So that's Snake Eyes movie that's coming out. All right. Next topic of the day is, this is exciting. John Wick Chapter 4 adds Westworld and Mortal Kombat actor Hiroyuki Sanada to the role. He will star in an undisclosed role in Lionsgate's John Wick Chapter 4, opposite Keanu Reeves, Donnie Yen, Rina Sawayama, Shamir Anderson, and so on and so forth. Lots of people, Lawrence Fishburne as well. There's going to be a lot of people in John Wick 4, just like Matrix 4. And this is great to see Hiroyuki Sanada once again acting alongside Keanu Reeves as they previously were together in 47 Ronin, which I kind of liked it. But yeah, this is exciting. This is really cool. He's an awesome actor, and I really loved him as Scorpion. He was awesome in Westworld. Very short-lived, though. I wish we saw a little bit more from him, though his consciousness went to another... Anyway, that's Westworld. But yeah, definitely, this is interesting, and can't wait to see what happens in John Wick Chapter 4. All right, moving on. There's an update. Now, I didn't really talk about the original news where Tyrese Gibson, who is starring in Morbius, said that Morbius is in the MCU. And a lot of people were freaking out. They're like, "Oh, what? The Sony Marvelverse is in the MCU and vice versa." And we kind of maybe got a hint that could be possible because Michael Keaton showed up as Vulture at the end of the trailer for Morbius. And so you're like wondering, oh, maybe it is the MCU. But it could be a variant, like how Loki's on right now. That Loki is a variant from another Loki. Probably the Spider-Mans and Doc Ock and all those Electros, all variants of their original characters. But Sony came out and said, no, that is not true. Tyrese is cray-cray. Morbius is not in the MCU. It's not in the MCU. It's part of its own little Sony Spider-Verse, if you will. So that's where it's at. And you do see Spider-Man in the background there. I just realized that. So Morbius is going to have their own Spider-Man in their own world with Venom and all that. They're having their separate thing. I'm just curious to see which Spider-Man will occupy that world. I want to say, it looks like, that almost looks like Tobey Maguire. I don't even know if this is a real picture. Or, Andrew Garfield. Maybe I think it's appropriate to have Andrew Garfield for that universe, but let's see what happens with that. Let's see if there's any connective tissue in terms of those movies, right? So Black Widow, the social media embargo has lifted, and there's a ton of people reviewing the movie on social media. This is one of them. This is one of they're all, of course, every MCU movie is going to have, phenomenal positive reviews of it. So I'm just going to share with you, Eric Davis. Marvel movies are back. Black Widow is a tense, action-packed spy thriller that truly completes Natasha's story in a visceral and emotional way. Florence Pugh crushes it and is an instant MCU icon. This is like the MCU's Bond movie with shades of Mission Impossible and Thelma and Louise. A few other notes. Yes, there's a post-credit scene, so stick around. David Harbour is hilarious and a major scene stealer. Takes place after Civil War, so a lot of Avengers references. If this is Scarlett's final performance as Natasha, it's a great way to go out. Also, The thing that hit me the most was the action. There were several big action sequences in Black Widow, and it immediately separates itself from the TV shows, which are softer on action and heavier on character. I miss big Marvel action. It's a fun ride. So that's what a lot of people are saying. It's a big, fun ride. It's an action-packed thriller. It's a thriller, right? Because, there's very little superhero-y stuff going on in here because they're regular spies and, assassins and stuff like that. So, but there is one dude who didn't give it a good review, at least more on the negative. Scott Menzel, he said that Black Widow is so disappointing. Scarlett Johansson tries, but the script, pacing, and poor character development sink the film. Starts off promising, but by the second act becomes a disjointed and uneven mess. Generic, uninspired, and ultimately lacking the Marvel magic. Black Widow. What's worse is that Black Widow plays like a 135-minute teaser to an upcoming Marvel Disney Plus series rather than an actual movie. The whole thing feeds oddly pointless with a shoestring plot that is more concerned with setting up Pugh's Yelena than telling Natasha's backstory. The entire family subplot doesn't work because there's little to no chemistry between the characters. I get what the writers were going for, but the emotional hook isn't there. Instead, it feels forced. David Harbour and Rachel Weisz feel very out of place and are arguably miscast. As someone who enjoys action mixed with laughs, I found the humor in Black Widow to be so off-putting. The jokes as a whole felt lazy, dated, and out of place. Some were actually cringe-worthy. Don't get me started on the goofy Russian accents and the film's lackluster villain. With so many waiting years for a Black Widow movie, I couldn't help but feel cheated by this film. It fails to deliver the goods and is a slap in the face to the fans who thought they would finally get a badass Black Widow movie. Johansson and Black Widow both deserved better. So, that is a negative review from a Marvel critic fan, and one I don't know if there's more. I was seeing overly positive, in fact, for that. But the reason why I pull this out because this dude right here, in all the subsequent tweets after, has been attacked by numerous MCU fans. Like, MCU fans just pounced on him like crazy. It was insane. You would almost think he was talking about something else, DC or something. And yeah, he felt it. He says, I see that toxic fandom is alive and well today. My tweet earlier proves that toxicity isn't just tied to one particular fandom, but everything that is pop culture related. I have praised many Marvel movies in the past, but because I don't like this one, off with my head. I know, right? And now you know what it feels like to be a DC fan. And he says, someone replied to the toxic is the perfect word. Appreciate you, Tessa. I've been in this industry for 20 years and only has gotten worse and worse. My biggest issue of all is that people try to act like it only exists within certain fandoms like Star Wars, Zack Snyder, and DC, but it goes much farther than that. Absolutely, it does. People like to single it out like it's only one fandom and the other fandom, and they forget about it's everywhere. DC, Marvel, Star Wars, Godzilla even. There's always going to be toxicity. It's just that people don't, instead of saying, okay, well, that's your opinion, that's great. No. Nowadays, you just attack. If it doesn't line up with your ideas, your opinion, and probably in the comments down below, you get attacked, which is like the norm nowadays, right? And that's where he's coming from. So it's interesting to see that, and that's just something I just wanted to point out, that he understands what a lot of people understand, is that there is toxicity in all fandoms. All fandoms, you get attacked. It doesn't matter where and when. It just happens. That's kind of like the pop culture norm nowadays, unfortunately. Let's get into some. Well, this comes from MCU Direct because it's actually about Marvel and DC. Director James Gunn says that he has casually talked to the powers that be, both Marvel and DC, about a potential crossover movie. What? Really? Whoa! Okay, well, let's see what he actually said. So this is the tweet that he actually talked about, and it's a little bit more than that. Stuart Duncan says, so James Gunn is, let's say in an alternate reality, universes collided, and you were given the green light and complete creative control over Guardians of the Galaxy versus Suicide Squad movie. Which team would win? And he expertly said, the fans. You're right, the fans would win. The fans would win because we would want to see a crossover one day, maybe. He said this: I've casually talked to the powers that be at both Marvel and DC about it. I would love for it to happen. I don't think it's likely, but I don't think it's an impossibility either. That said, just constantly seeing crossovers and mashups is less enchanting to me than a strong story. And he goes on further. I find it disconcerting at times that many folks seem more interested in crossovers, cameos, and references and post-credit scenes than they do to the actual story and characters of specific film. That's kind of true. You know, that kind of, a lot of people are like, what is the cameo? I mean, even me, it's like, Flash, who's the cameo? Is Superman going to be in there? And stuff like that. And people are like, Marvel movies, is there a post-credit scene? You know, things like that. When making a film, I spent 99.9% of the time thinking about story and character, and 0.1% the rest. It does have a post-credit scene. Oh, okay, so the Suicide Squad does have a post-credit scene. I love them. I think they give the audience a reason to sit through all the folks who work so hard on the show, but they're always an afterthought, a snack, not the main course. So it won't be anything major. It's just like what for the first Guardians of the Galaxy, he showed Howard the Duck, you know, things like that. You can have good characters without a good story, but there's no such thing as a good story without good characters. It's not possible. I think he's talking about something else here. But yeah, about going back to this though, this is something a lot of people, different people have considered and saying, would that actually happen? And I say, yeah, it could happen one day, but only when, and this is a long time from now, only when they've pretty much got through everything they could possibly do with Marvel and DC. And the only way to bring it back up, like right now it's on the high right now, but imagine a day 20 years from now or whatever, they have to do something and people are I don't know if they would, tired of comic book movies. They're like, we need to change it up. We need to something that will elevate it, bring back the excitement for it. A crossover movie would definitely do that. It would actually definitely do that. Now, I don't know, Disney will probably take like, I don't know, 80% of the revenue of the share. They're not going to share. I don't know how that would work as a business wise and IP wise and all that kind of stuff, but it would definitely have to be a cooperation between two companies, and definitely they have to somehow make it work so that it benefits both parties. At the same time, like I said, it will be when nothing is going on, people are tired of this, and it's like, why should I watch it? Oh, whoa, Superman versus Thor. And I'm just thinking about the characters that would match. Batman versus Tony Stark, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, there could be something there. Far into the future, far into the future. But you do see James Gunn talking a little bit about that, something that he's casually talked to the powers that be, but you know, nothing right now. All right, so this is another DC thing. Adil El Arbi, director of upcoming, and he's also actually directing a Marvel show as well as a DC film, kind of like James Gunn, of upcoming Miss Marvel show, and the focus of the post, the Batgirl film. He liked the post, saying that the film is releasing in 2022. Is it possible that the film will drop in 2022? Is it? It's got to be fast. I mean, they got to start working on it this year already, if they haven't already. But there's someone put a post, and they put to be determined, you know, to be honest. So, but they did say 2022 is going to be a big treat for DC fans, and we are getting 6 live-action movies, and they also included Blue Beetle in there. And so the director actually liked that. So he liked that. He liked it right there. And then he put out a post of him of Batgirl. It says, such an honor to be chosen to direct this great project for DC. You know, so people are kind of like, is it coming out this year? Not this year, next year. 6 movies coming out next year. 4 for the theaters and 2 for HBO Max. That's quite a lot, but if that's the, you know, I guess, well, because these are, for real, they are coming out in the movie theaters, which is a lot. I mean, technically the Batman should have came out this year because of COVID and such. Even Black Adam, you know, they had to push it back, so they're all cramming it into 2022. But also throwing these down here in HBO Max is quite interesting. Is it coming out in 2022? I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. Speaking of Bat, Batman or Batgirl or just a Batman in general, just Batman, and maybe even Catwoman. Yeah, Zack Snyder put this out on Vero. He even tweeted it out, and he put simply the word canon. Now, I went ahead and censored it because I wasn't sure if I would be taken down if you actually see it. You don't really see much. I mean, he's just back there, but you know what he's doing. You know what he's going. He's going down. He's going down on Catwoman. He's going to town. And this is an image that is not anywhere. So he probably got it made. He probably got it made just to make it look like it's a comic book and put it out there and said, canon. There we go. We made a comic frame of it. It's canon. This is all due to that whole thing about DC telling the Harley Quinn animated series creators to take out a scene, delete a scene where Batman goes down on Catwoman. Okay? So from that, there was a lot of just a lot of talk in regards to that. People are fighting back and forth. Should he do it? Shouldn't he do it? Is that the heroes won't do that? Is that what DC said? Heroes don't do that. So Zack Snyder decided to come on today out of the blue to troll DC and Warner Brothers. Well, I made it canon. There, heroes do that, and this Batman does do that. So there you go. Batman goes down on Catwoman. That's what Zack Snyder trolled DC today, and in just that one image. And it's like his name is like trending now, which is interesting. What's even more fascinating is we're seeing detractors actually are standing Zack now after what he did. Weird. It's weird. It's chaotic. But it makes perfect sense. Like this person says, "What the F? I love Zack Snyder now." Really? You didn't love Zack Snyder before? Forget everything I've said. It's time to restore the Snyderverse. Really? You spelled it wrong though. Okay, I'll watch the Snyder Cut now out of respect for this post. Really? That's all it took. That's all it took, huh? Zack Snyder posting very graphic and well-painted art of Batman eating Catwoman out just sold me on his cut of the Justice League. Not a joke. Maybe that should have been part of the marketing, right? That should have been part of the marketing. Then a lot of people would watch Snyder Cut and accept Snyder Cut, and we wouldn't be fighting online all the time. All he had to do was post a picture of Batman eating Catwoman out. I was like, what? That's it? That's it? That's crazy. That's amazing. And it takes Zack Snyder to do this. Zack Snyder, you crazy, you madman. But he's never all about safe anyway. And now that he's out of the reins of Warner Bros. Right now, he's over at Netflix. He's pretty much feeling good about himself. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to troll him today. I'm just going to call somebody up. Hey, can you make a nice art of Batman eating out Catwoman? And they're like, what? I'm sorry, what did you say? And it's like, yeah, no, I want it to look like this and like the... Are you sure? He's like, yeah, no, make that for me, will you? Send it my way. Yeah, text it to me for a second. There it goes. DC's like, oh, another Zack attack. Jesus. What's going to happen? Is he going to do that in the Batfleck movie? No, I'm kidding. But hey, maybe when he makes that Dark Knight Returns, he's going to put that one scene in there, have the Hallelujah song playing, like Watchmen style. Yeah, that'd be quite something. But yeah, so that's what Zack Snyder did today. Speaking of Zack Snyder, not only that, Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead top streaming chart for debut weekend. Amazing. Remember in 4 weeks it was going to do like 700 something million households or whatever, and it wasn't going to top something. I don't know how many households it is, but they're putting out right now from the Hollywood Reporter, Zack Snyder's movie Army of the Dead racked up a sizable opening weekend audience for Netflix. Jupiter's Legacy, meanwhile, plummeted in its third week of release. Army of the Dead topped Nielsen's streaming charts for the week, of May 17th to the 23rd, the zombie movie racked up 913 million minutes of viewing time for the week, equivalent of about 6.17 million full plays of the 148-minute film. Army of the Dead was far and away the most viewed title on Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, and Amazon's Prime Video for the week. The previous number one, Jupiter's Legacy, fell by 60% from 1.02 billion minutes of viewing time to 405 million. Suck it, Mark Miller. A steep drop that may give some insight into Netflix's decision to scrap the series a month after its debut. Now, I like Invincible, but Mark Miller is very much anti-Zack Snyder, apparently. So in this little chart here, you do get to see what was number one and so on and so forth. So Army of the Dead, 913 million minutes. Then comes Winning the Window. I was surprised by this. The Mitchells versus the Machines. I thought that was going to be like number one because it's just a kid's film and stuff like that. I think it came out the same weekend. I could be wrong. And then all the other movies over here. So that's great. That's fantastic. Army of the Dead. Let's go. Announce that sequel already. I want to see it. And I'm waiting for Zack Snyder to announce that one day. And I'm thinking they will. I think they will announce it. I think it's one of those things that they will definitely announce along, maybe after the prequels, because there's still a lot of Army of the Dead content coming out, and there's still going to be a lot more Zack Snyder stuff coming out. He's got the he's got the Twilight of the Gods series that's coming out as well. So there's definitely a lot of projects. I think he's still going to shoot Horse Latitudes, but I feel like there's still that one big project he's talking about. The one that he said we'll know soon. I'm thinking would be that original sci-fi project, maybe. I don't know, but I'm really curious to see what's going to come soon. Comic-Con is coming up. I don't know if he's part of that or not. I have no idea, but if he is, if it's some surprise thing at Comic-Con, I hopefully Comic-Con will be great this year, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. All right, well, let's get into the members' comments right now. Both into me. Hey, Chris, any movies to recommend for the weekend? I have no idea. I'm not going to the theaters for anything big. I think the next thing I'm probably going to watch is the Suicide Squad. But any movies? Well, I watched on Netflix. It was a new movie called Awake. And that is kind of a mind bender. It's kind of interesting. At the same time, a little disappointing. But open-ended, which is I kind of like. So check out Awake. Kind of feel bad for Ezra Miller. His Flash was massacred by Joss Whedon, and people hated him in 2017 JL. After being redeemed in Zack Snyder's Justice League, there's a high chance that the Flash movie will carry on with his over-the-top performance from 2017 JL, considering that the Flash movie seems to be made by a committee. Well, I don't know, because at first he wasn't going to be in it. Like, he wanted to differently take out those two other directors and have his own work in there. So maybe, just maybe, and I don't know. Like I said, Ezra Miller signed on. He says, okay, this is the movie. That's like, he didn't want to sign on to the last other directors. He didn't like that comedic that comedy that they were going to do, like a Back to the Future thing. He didn't like that, so he wanted something grittier, and I think that's why he signed up for that. That's why Ben Affleck signed on. Ray Fisher also signed on. He liked what was going on there before they canned him. So I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I hope Aquaman 2 follows the path of the Snyderverse rather than the Hamadaverse when it comes to tone. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how much, if Aquaman 2 is certainly different than Aquaman 1, then we know that Jeff Johns really had an impact on that film. And if not, then we know it's all James Wan, right? So we'll see. Get out of here with sacrificing Andrew's Peter. That's not happening. There will be more down the line. Yeah, no sacrificing any of them. I want Andrew Garfield to have another, like, for me, the best thing would be like, okay, it's kind of like the Flash film in a sense, because out of the Flash film, you get the Batgirl movie and you get the Supergirl movie and all that stuff. Imagine out of the Spider-Man 4 movie, we're going to get another, a real Spider-Man 4 for Tobey Maguire, and a Spider-Man 3 for Andrew Garfield. And then the Sony and Marvel verse will have Andrew Garfield or Tobey, I don't know, one of those, to be the Spider-Man for that world. I mean, that would be pretty amazing if that happens. I love to see Schumacher's director's cut. It is such a shame he's not around to have a little redemption, because he was a very talented filmmaker. Yeah. Of course, if it ever happens, I know he'll be smiling in heaven. By the way, because some might assume it's in there, I don't think that Justice of Grey is in the... No, it's not in the UK edition, you're right. I don't think there's even a digital copy in there, to be quite honest. I skipped the Spidey stuff last video to avoid all the potential spoilers. Then all the members' comments in this video are about the Spidey leaks. Dope. Yeah, but, it probably is not even true anyway. I mean, to be honest, it's probably fake stuff, but... I guess you never know. I'm definitely interested to watch the cut if it does release, but not on the same level as the Snyder cut, because I really do question how dark it can be, and if it is in fact Schumacher's true vision, given we can't ask him. But despite my reservations and not campaigning for it, I wholeheartedly support those that do. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be a big Snyder cut type of deal, absolutely not, but it's a take that I'm curious about. And even when Akiva Goldsman, that's the project, what was it called? Project Cut 1 or something. That sounds easy. A preview cut 1. I'm wondering how that would have went. I've long been very intrigued by this effort, and I'd love to see this full cut come to fruition. One thing we've recently learned is that the scene with Dick taking the Batmobile actually has him breaking down in tears. Batman standing there beside him. In the theatrical cut, the scene ends when Bruce stops Dick trying to lash out at him in frustration over the death of Grayson's, telling him if Bruce Wayne could have saved your parents, he would have. Dick stopping and falling to his knees, breaking down in tears, letting it all out, would be a perfect actual conclusion to the scene. Yeah, and I think there was a Red Book edition that actually, I think, showed that, or there's a little more conversations about that, and more drama in terms of that, and I actually like the Red Book edition. I saw that someone sent me the link for that, so and I don't have it anymore, but I'm sure you guys can find it. It's actually a lot more entertaining, I see, a little bit more deeper than the theatrical version. If any other superheroes are prepared to go down on a woman, it is Batman. The mask stops at the nose. Yeah, the mask. Trevor Noah had a whole skit. I don't have it right now in front of me, but had a whole skit about that's why he doesn't he doesn't cover his mouth for that very reason. So, yeah, and apparently it's canon now. It's canon. All right, well, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you absolutely love this daily dose of entertainment news and content, please click the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, keep this hot dog light on, and I'll see you next time.